Hey folks, welcome back to the shop. Yeah, this is still here. It's because it's not New Year's Day yet. Told you I was going to do that New Year's Day. What I have is I don't have a good camera angle for when I'm working on the lathe. And so before I throw this big boy up on the lathe, I need to make some kind of something that'll hold the camera so that I can get a decent camera angle and you're not staring at the back of my head. And nobody wants to see that. You guys will point out the bald spot. Don't do it. I'm not going bald. Anyway, so before I get busy on turning that thing, I'm gonna build some kind of an articulating. There's a fancy word for you. Some kind of an articulating arm that I can swing over the lathe. It'll hold the camera and give you a better view, and then I can swing it out of the way when I don't need it. That's the plan. It's the only plan I have. I kind of know what fork here, that there, turn. I don't know. I'm just going to make it up as I go. Let's see how bad I can screw this one up. Don't really have a game plan for this. This is what I'm using right now. And I don't even know if you can see me or not because the camera's pointed over there. But anyway, this is what I'm using right now. And it's I can't see the camera to know where it's pointed. And it's so this is going to go away. But my lathe is close enough to the wall that I'm just kind of, I want it out of the way when I'm not using it. I'm thinking up here maybe so I can swing it that way. But at the same time, it doesn't have to be very long because it only has to come out to about here. So I'm going to mark this. This is going to be my first piece. It's going to be the first knuckle, I guess. I don't know. Figure it out. Okay, here's what I got so far. Does it look? This is going to be the block that mounts to the wall. I have to cut a potato, rabbit, slot, whatever. This piece will get trimmed down to fit into said slot, and that'll allow it to, I might make another up here because I'm only not even a foot away from the wall. So the more of this I can do, the better. But now I got to cut a slot in this. These are cut at the same width, and I'm just going to cut down. So, cut down so it'll fit in there when I'm done, or it won't. Okay, so I'm thinking the best tool for this job is going to be the bandsaw, even though I ain't gonna lie, I'm a little bit scared of this one, a little bit afraid of it, a little bit terrified. No, it's a great bandsaw, but it's loud and bangy, and so it freaks me out a little bit. And folks, I'm gonna tell you, it is windy out. It's like Wicked Witch of the West windy out. I moved the cars because we don't need to, no more of that. All right, all I got to do is not mess this up. Cutting this out, cutting that out. That's what I got to do. Where's my pencil? So I don't mess this up. This piece is going to fit inside this piece, which means this is what has to go. Okay, yep, I'm going to mess that up. I'll just put the pencil right there. Okay, so that's what I'm talking about. Now is it starting to make sense? I got to do some rounding, you know, so this all does what it's supposed to. But we're off to a good start. I left myself easily a 16th inch on either side of this, so it's not getting hung up and all that. What I have to figure out is, well, problem is my sander. I don't have sandpaper for the sander I have. So I have to figure out a way to round this and actually have it work. But that's next on the agenda. And then figure out how long this arm has to be. That's next. Okay, conceivably drill hole. I searched around the whole shop through all my junk and can't really find the bolts that I want. I found bolts that'll work, but they're going to be a little bit long. Who cares? Oh boy, can you get it any closer than that? That safety first, friends. Safety first. Let's make sure it's not going to wobble around. Okay. Okay, holes in both. Kind of line up. Get some bolts. Here's what I'm saying. These bolts are about 14,762 feet long. Slightly longer than what I actually need. But that's going to go in there. Hello? There we go. Pay no attention to the man behind the... There we go. Okay. Oh, sure. A little tap, tap, tap-a-rooski here. Which is normally where it breaks. For sure going to break. Why isn't that going through? Okay. So the next thing is I have to have a way to mount this to the wall. And I got this just junk piece of, this is the ultimate scrap wood project. It's not, it's just junk I got laying around. Essentially I'm going to mount that to that, and then this can flat mount to the wall, but definitely want to pre-drill this because I'm using oak and I want it split, basically is what I'm trying to say here. So I think what I'm going to do, I drew a picture of what this is on there, like, you know, so, and I'll just pick 2 points, drill it, set it up to this, then drill into the oak. No measuring needed because tape measures got too many lines on them. Sure, I wasn't even really close. That's okay. There's a hole here somewhere. There it is. Where'd the screw go? Found it. Getting way too excited about this. So I had to find a place to put this where, you know, that's not going to happen. So what I did was I basically, and I have a nasty, what's happening? I got some slop. Got some slop in there. That's okay. I want to be able to get to my tools. And so actually, I set my phone up there and I figured out the length I need because this is the mount that I'm going to use. Holds the phone, holds it the right direction so you're seeing the whole lathe and not this way. So basically now, I just need to cut that, and that's going to mount to this. It's really rather, I didn't really need anything giant apparently. What I'd like to do is mount it and know that when my phone's in there, I don't have to worry about it. I'm going to have to find something to take up that. I wonder if I did it that way. Well, that's more better. We'll just flip it over upside down. Perfect. Okay, problem solved. I just have to cut this, mount that, and then go from there, I guess. This has got to be the worst 1/8" drill bit in all of the world. How far did I go? A little more for good measure. I gotta tell you, I use these 1 1/4" deck screws for everything. Okay, we'll twist that around. Oh, it's over there. Here's the thing, folks. Even though you watched a video on New Year's Eve saying Happy New Year's Eve, and this is sometime later, it's actually still New Year's Eve. It's like, you know, New Year's Eve. I don't know how else to tell you that. And we have our traditional New Year's Eve dinner cooking right now. And I got to get this done. Oh, that's way too tight. Because I only get this meal once a year. And so that had me wondering, do you guys have traditional New Year's Eve meals that you make up north or possibly Midwest? Because that's where my mother was from. It was always pork and sauerkraut, you know, whether that's kibasi or pork roast or whatever it is, you know. That's what we would have. I don't know what I'm looking for, and it's not here. How about in here? No, negative. Remember that time that I had a screwdriver that held, you know, bits like this? It was cool. Anyway, growing up, that's what we had. I think it's because my dad liked sauerkraut, but it was always sauerkraut and pork. And here's the reasoning behind it now. My mother used to tell me that the sauerkraut, you had that so that it cleaned out your system of the previous year. See what happened there? Sauerkraut does that. And you have pork. And she told me this. I don't know if this is right or not, because the pigs always rut forward. And so it ruts you forward into the new year. I don't know. Down here in the southern part of the world, they have collard greens and black-eyed peas. Neither of which I've ever had. But anyway, what's your traditional New Year's Eve dinner or New Year's Day dinner? And then if there's a reason for it, let me know the reason. Put it down in the commentational part of the whole situation. That's still not mounted straight to that. Got a big old gap there I need to tighten up. But anyway, all right, we're almost there. Let me get this tightened up. We'll get it mounted to the wall and we'll see how it works. That's actually going to be your view of the lathe. Once I get this mounted, which it's not yet. We'll which is pretty good because in editing I can enlarge that. But if I try to enlarge it now, oh, wrong button. Stay with me. There we go. It kind of throws this off a little bit, you know, and I guess that goes back to that slop I have in that thing. I don't know. Am I making you seasick yet? All right, let me get this mounted. Okay, there you go. It doesn't look like much. It really isn't much, but I can push it out of the way. If I'm filming, I can go ahead and bring it up. And what I did was I took another bandsaw blade off of that and I put a washer above and below it. Seems to have taken that up quite a bit. And I think that's going to work out really good. And I ain't going to hit my head on it. You ain't going to be able to see my bald spot. And I think for the most part, it's going to work out good. So, yeah. All right. Tight. It's definitely tight. I can't see the camera. I don't know if you can see me or not. But anyway, Happy New Year. Tomorrow, I put the log on. That'll be next week, hopefully, unless it flies off and kills me. Hey, thanks for stopping by, hanging out with me for a while. God bless you. I'll see you on the next one.